I'm just so incredibly paranoid. I really, really hope this is recording. Here we are. I'm recording a little sit down video for you, which I haven't done in a very long time. I used to do these all the time where I will like write out a script or like a plan and go through everything in meticulous detail, and that's basically what I've done today. It kind of feels like I'm doing a podcast because this is how I usually sit for my podcast. I sit on my bed with my laptop to one side, but today I'm filming myself. I basically wanted to do this video because it's been a year since I graduated and it feels really weird seeing all of these graduates running around in their gowns and just thinking back to the time where I had so much hope in front of me. I don't know, it's just a really weird feeling to look back on, especially feeling like I haven't done much. But that's the thing, I have done stuff. So I'm making this video to talk to you about all the things that I've learned in the past year and things that I wish I knew earlier, and also just go through the things that I've been through the past few months because I have been recording Fig Tree Diary videos. I'm just not very fast at editing. So I don't really want to sit through all of the hours of me rambling on about stuff. I'm gonna condense it and show you the clips. That's so funny that I say that because now I'm rambling on. So I don't know. I don't know why I do this. I always say I'm trying to make something shorter and then I just ramble on and on and on. That's why I have a YouTube channel, I guess. So the first thing I kind of learned, or the thing I've realized, is that in this year since I've graduated, I've had to create a lot of opportunities for myself. And it is something that I need to continue doing because there's so much going on, especially in a city like London, where people are always trying to help young people get into the industry that they want to get in. A few months ago, in June actually, I attended an event by Girls on Track UK. But basically, I went to Thruxton Circuit for British touring cars, and I never heard of the British touring cars, which made me feel a little bit like an imposter because some of these girls were like staying over for the weekend and watching British touring cars. I was like, I don't know any of these people. It was a photography workshop. I signed up. It was a little bit difficult to get to that place. I had to take a train and then I had to get an Uber, and then the Uber was 20 minutes late. So thank God I gave myself 30 minutes leeway. We basically had a little session with Karen Harvey, who's a motorsport photographer, who's also a woman. And she has this photography competition basically, and she did this talk with us, and then we took our cameras and went to one of the garages and just took some pictures, and then after that we did a little like feedback session with her, which was really nice. I was so lucky that day that I got to see some track action because usually Fridays for British touring cars is a media day. For some reason there were cars on track, and there were also Formula 4 or 3, I forgot, there was a Formula car there. So I was like, wow, this is amazing. We also were taken to the pit wall. One of the ladies, Carol, she said, yeah, I can get you guys on the pit wall. We were signing our names on the little sheet saying if we die, it's not their fault. And we got to literally watch a pit stop. We got to go onto the pit wall, take photographs of cars. And at that point, I didn't know how to take panning photography yet, which I should have learned before, but I didn't know what panning photography was until this girl next to me was going and I was like, how is she doing that? I should have learned. But I guess that's what it was for. But it was so rewarding, and I got to get some photos for my portfolio. I got to get some feedback from Karen. It was really cool meeting some of the girls, and it was a little intimidating at first because some of the girls were like, yeah, I'm a photographer for XYZ Racing Championship. I was like, I've never even been to a circuit, guys. Like, this is crazy. Some of these girls were like into it, but you know, that's what we're all here for. Like, I earned my place just as much as they did, so imposter syndrome can go away. In the same vein of motorsport, since apparently I'm trying to chase my motorsport dreams now, I don't really know what my dream is still, to be honest. Formula E was in town last month. Since this is my first summer fully in London, I decided to get myself some tickets for the London E-Prix. I got £50 tickets. They were the cheapest ones and they were restricted. So I decided to bring my camera to get some panning shots. This time I did learn. I had to do so much research into what was actually going on. I literally made a Google Docs of like all of the top 7 drivers, their names, their age, their history, when they got into Formula E, what teams they've been in, and like what their vibe is. I even watched Formula E Unplugged. I didn't finish the whole thing, but it's so boring. I'm so sorry, but Formula E Unplugged is so boring compared to Drive to Survive. But I mean, I guess that's the point. Drive to Survive is just crazy and hectic and not realistic. But I guess I did get to see a little bit of like the driver personalities, and that's what made me like root for the people that I was rooting for. I really liked Antonio Felix da Costa. He was a personality that really like just seemed like a nice guy, so I was rooting for him. And everyone in the crowd seemed to be rooting for Jaguar, so like Mitch Evans and Nick Cassidy. So I was like, go Mitch, go Nick. It was just so funny. Like when the cars went by, nobody cheered for the other car. So I was like, I guess I'm a Jaguar fan now. I don't want to stand out. But yeah, it was really cool to be there. It was like my first like time being at a actual like motorsport event for the event. Cause like the photography one wasn't I just saw some cars drive. But this time it was like actually there's an atmosphere. We were there watching. And a Formula E race is so much shorter. Formula E qualifying is so much more exciting. But yeah, so at Formula E, I did my best to get as many pictures as possible because I am trying to build my motorsport portfolio and like just show a recruiter that I am actually really interested and like I'm doing everything I can to get experience. But I did message this girl on Instagram. She has a Formula E page and she had media accreditation, and I asked her about it, and it seems easy enough to apply for. So I'm gonna build up my website and like my motorsport portfolio essentially. And maybe next year I can apply for media accreditation and I can actually like go to the media pen and like walk around and like, oh my god, that would be just so cool. Like hopefully this time around next year. I am also in the process of building up my motorsport themed blog. I'm just building it because I need more practice in writing, and I've never been a writer per se. I've always been more interested in audiovisual, fine arts, and all that stuff, even music. But I'm trying to get more into writing because writing is such a good skill to have, especially in the field that I'm trying to get into, which is PR/journalism/ I don't know, whatever, media. And I don't have a lot of experience writing, so I made a motorsport blog. So far, there's not much on there, and one of them isn't even motorsport related, but it's basically my blog is called That Tracks. And I have 3 sections. One is called Fuel for Thought, which is going to be my thoughts. Then we have Culture Corner, which is supposed to be, because I like to write about like my reviews on museums and stuff. I thought I was going to do that sort of stuff. I don't have any ideas yet. So if you have any ideas, let me know what I can write about. That's like kind of culture related, pop culture, I don't know. And then we have Track Talk, I think. I can't remember if I changed the name, but Track Talk, that one will basically be the motorsport part of it. Blog writing is such a weird thing that I've never done before. Like I don't really know how to do it, and I'm kind of struggling to think of ideas as well, and especially because blog writing needs research, whereas my AV stuff, like YouTube videos, I don't need to research anything because I'm just talking about my life. And blog research, I guess, I don't know, like I'm trying to write articles. I guess a blog is more like your own thoughts. So the one that I did that was in Fuel for Thought is about the girl I've always been and not trying to change who I am all the time. That one didn't really require much research, but if I want to write about motorsport stuff, I'm gonna have to research. And I don't know, I'm not the best at doing like research stuff, but if you're a recruiter, I didn't say that. I'm trying my best to work on it. I'm also working on my creative portfolio, which is supposed to be like, I'm trying to make it so that it's just a little bit of everything of me. So like my audiovisual stuff, my films, I'm gonna do some writing for it, like maybe put one of my blog posts on it. I'm going to try and do some like mock projects so that I can hopefully impress recruiters. I keep saying recruiters, I mean hiring managers. I don't know if they're the same thing. So that I can impress them if I do ever like cold email them. Which kind of goes on to my next point, which is not really related to cold emails, but just reminded me. Yesterday, I attended a PR Insight Day with Shadow to Shine. It was really cool. Like, it just fell into my lap and everything was just so perfect. And I was like, I didn't even manifest this. Like, this just fell right into my lap. Like, what happened? But I'm not gonna fight it. I'm gonna say lucky girl syndrome. Please have more things come my way. But basically, I saw an ad for this PR Insight Day and I was like, what is this? I've never heard of Shadow to Shine. I have never thought of going to a PR. Actually, I have thought about going to a PR Insight Day. I saw the Instagram ad for it and I saw that it was on Tuesday. So I was like, okay, let me sign up. And then all the questions were like, are you between 18 and 22? I was like, yes, I'm 21. Are you like living in London? I was like, yes. Although some of the girls were not living in London, so I don't know how they did that. And all of the check boxes, I could just check. I was like, oh my god, this was like meant to find me. But essentially, it was like a PR class, like introduction to PR kind of thing. It was such a cool experience, and like the lady who did the talk was so nice. Her name was Jacinta, and like she had such valuable information that I've never been able to hear from anyone else. Like maybe if I did a PR class in uni, but like her knowledge was just so real world grounded, and she was just talking about like projects she's worked on and a crisis communication thing that she had to do for a hotel. And it was so cool hearing her insight about like the industry and stuff, and it was extremely valuable. And like I learned how to do this message house thing, which was really cool. And I talked to her afterwards and I asked if she had any like work experience opportunities open, and she said she'd ask, which is so cool. Yeah, it was such a great, like there were no downsides to going yesterday, maybe the only one being waking up at 8:30. I was just so happy by the end of it. I was like, wow, my morning, it was just so amazing. And it was just such a great experience. So I am quite proud of myself that I have gone to so many of these things in order to try and like build my career through these things. It just goes to show that I am trying and I'm not just sitting around. Although it does feel sometimes that I'm sitting around all year. But yeah, so another thing that I've learned recently is to just do the difficult thing. I have such an issue with biting the bullet that it's like actually inhibiting my life. Like I have so many opportunities that I've missed because I just thought, oh, I'm like, I don't want to do it right now, so I'll do it later. And then I miss the opportunity and it never comes around again. And I kick myself for it, and it's so hard because I know it's probably my ADHD, which makes it even worse because this is something that I'm trying to work on. I also like have such an issue with just cold emailing people. The worst thing they could do is say no or ignore me. Like, they're not going to be emailing me like, oh, you suck, like, we're never going to hire you. Like, realistically, they're not going to email me that. So I need to get it out of my head that people are going to think I'm stupid for cold emailing. I realize I just need to bite the bullet. Like, that week that I was recording, I was going to title the vlog, like, doing things that I've been putting off, or, like, conquering my fears and whatever. But that week, I just realized my dreams are within reach if I take the action. And I'm just sitting around not taking the action. I won't know if I get the job unless I email them. I can't be sitting around waiting for jobs to open up when I'm not getting the jobs anyway. I've been applying to jobs for a whole year and I'm not getting them. So what's stopping me from just cold emailing? Like, what's the worst that could happen? Sometimes I just like need to do a pep talk with myself because I get so in my head about these things. I set myself into a spiral, and sometimes I'm just like, literally, what is stopping you? Just do the email. Just write it. But then I sound like a little bit of a hypocrite now because I'm trying to get my portfolio ready before I send the email, and that's kind of blocking me a little bit. But, you know, I just probably have to put a post-it note on my bathroom mirror or something telling myself to just send the damn email. Do your damn portfolio. Sorry, I'm getting heated about myself. Sorry. Anyway, So moving on to how my film career is going. It's weird because I used to really want to get into film. Well, I used to really want to be an actor, first of all. Weird. I did for a while want to get into film, I think. I'm actually not sure. I don't remember. I have quite a few film experiences under my belt now, and I'm still not sure if I want to. The good news is that I finished filming Secret Identity. I feel like for the past few vlogs, I've included Secret Identity filming. So I vlogged the last day. Did I vlog the last day? I'm not sure. But here's some clips. And it was a very fun last day. It was very chill. And I was very insistent on one particular shot that everyone, or the director was just kind of like, no. And I was like, please, we should get it, please. If we have time, please. He's like, fine. And then it ended up being an amazing shot. So, what can I say? But everyone was like saying well done and like insisting on the shot because it was like really good or whatever. I was like, oh my god, thank you. Yeah, I learned a lot on this film. After an experience like this, I always open up a Word document and like write everything that I learned and everything I could have done better and everything that I've observed from other people that
You do it.
like if I were to do a production myself, like as a director, for example, what would I do differently? And so in the document, I kind of wrote about, I learned how to do a lighting plan. I had never like had to book out lights before, and I attended recce's for the first time. Attended so many freaking recce's, which if you don't know is basically when the DP and the director go to a location and figure out the shots shot by shot and write them down and like, yeah. And I think that what I could have done better is I could have been more out of my comfort zone in terms of the lighting. Because I was so rushed for the lighting for the first stint of the shoot, which was supposed to be it. It was supposed to be a 6-day shoot and that was it. It ended up being like, 4 months? Because I was so rushed for that first stint, I just booked whatever light I could find. And then I got comfortable with those lights because those lights were all I had. Every time another shoot date came up, I just booked those same lights. Where I feel like I could have figured out some different lighting because the lighting we got, they were 2 studio lights, spotlights, and we didn't have any sort of things to make it more like soft. So like the black box thingy. I don't know much about lighting still. But that's the point. Like, I could have learned more about lighting, but I didn't because I was just so used to those lights that I just booked them every time. But I guess I'll figure that out for next time. Last week, I got to work on a film called Till Dawn. I wasn't anything crazy. I was a BTS and stills photographer, and it was so rewarding being on set because it was such a big film set. The biggest film set that I've ever been on, which isn't even that big. It's just because Secret Identity was basically a no-budget film, but it was a very, very, very small, low-budget set. Till Dawn was so much bigger in comparison that I was like blown out of the water. Is that how you say it? I was just so used to being on a low budget set that I didn't know that I could be cared for on a set. It was crazy. Like, I was fed. I was asked if I had water that day. This was something that I was not used to. I was used to working a whole day with no breaks because I was the DP. No, but it was just really cool working with all those people who have worked on very professional stuff. Everyone's like, oh yeah, the TV show that I worked on. I'm like, you guys are working on TV shows? That's crazy. I learned so much about how a set should be and how people should be treated and how things actually work, and I learned so much new terminology. Oh, I learned so much random stuff. It was just like, the role of the first AD is very important with timekeeping, yelling action and cut when the director is not in the room, organization of time, places, things, and people. Mats over cables so that people don't trip over them. Sparks and gaffers use gloves to change lighting, which I was like, duh, the light is hot. I was also not expected to help other departments, and I was being called like, oh, you're so sweet, and like, oh, bless you, when I asked, oh, is there anything I can help with? And I was like, what? I'm not expected to help out? And like, some of the people who were like their own departments, for example, like continuity or like makeup and hair, when they're done, they're done. They just clock out and they go home because They know that that's what they were there for. They're not needed anywhere else. And I was so shocked because, like, on a really small set, you kind of have to wear all the hats and, like, you have to help out every department because there's just no one there to help. Also, one thing I noticed is that when you work on a film like that, people will give you their work Instagrams when you meet them, which I just found a little bit like, I was not expecting that. But I guess in the world of creatives, I guess you have to do that because, like, you're gonna meet so many people and you're not necessarily gonna be friends with them. They're basically your connections. So you use Instagram as your connections. But then it feels so impersonal. Like, I was giving out my Eunice Chung Instagram to everyone. Meanwhile, they were giving me, like, their name films, like Jane Doe films, or like Jane Doe hair and makeup, and Jane Doe costume, and Jane Doe assistant camera or something. Like, I was like, wow, everyone has an Instagram account for their work. This is a world that I've never experienced before. So it's very interesting. And then I went home and I brushed up my Chung's album because I was like, next time I'm gonna give people my Chung's album. All that to say that what I learned is being the dumbest person in the room is so valuable in a way that, like, being like a leader in a room is also valuable. But being the dumbest person, like, you are a sponge and you're soaking up everything around you. I feel like that's so much more valuable. I feel like I learned so much more in those 3 days of Till Dawn versus the 4 months of Secret Identity, which is, like, no hate to Secret Identity. I really enjoyed it. I'm glad that I had the creative liberties to do, like, what I wanted, and I was a DP, so I'm very grateful that I got to do that role so early in my career. But, like, just those 3 days on Till Dawn, I learned so much. So some general things that I've learned in the past year. I'm learning to say yes to more things because I'm young, and I often forget how young I am because in my head I'm getting older year after year. But in the grand scheme of things, I'm 21. Basically just got out of being a child. Like, I've been a child for 18 years. Then I went to uni, and uni, I'm working towards grades still. I'm working towards getting my degree. I have so much life ahead of me, and I don't realize it. So I should say yes to more things while I'm young. And I saw this TikTok that was like, in 25 years, you will give everything that you own materially to be 25 years younger, as in today. I don't want to scare myself into thinking about that, but it's like, of course, like, I am so young, and I'm able-bodied, and I'm alive and thriving and, you know, all this stuff. And, like, why don't I make use of my time right now? Like, I'm not locked down in a full-time job. I can travel. I can afford to do things. Like, I should be so grateful for my life and say yes to more things. I'm always holding myself back because I'm like, oh, when I do this, I'll do that. I don't know. I just realized, like, I'm so young and, like, I should be doing so many things. And it doesn't have to be backpacking because I don't like backpacking. I don't think I'm made for the hostel life. I do want to go see a hostel, like stay in a hostel for once in my life. But I'm not the kind of girl that will go 3 months backpacking. But that's okay. I can do other things. Like, my life doesn't end there. Like, why am I not saying yes to more things? Anyway, I also don't regret not going to a master's immediately. When this year first started, I was doubting my choices a lot because there were a lot of my friends who were going into masters and it seemed like the next option. But for me personally, I had no idea what I wanted to do for masters. I still don't. And I feel like every day I'm closer to figuring it out, but I am still sometimes wondering, like, should I have just done the masters? I saw this Instagram post that was like, someone who goes into their masters after uni will look at someone who didn't go into their masters after uni and think, wow, I wish I had done that. Someone who didn't go to masters after uni will look at someone who's in masters and say, I wish I had done that. Someone who didn't go to uni at all will wish they went to uni. Someone who went to uni will wish they had never gone to uni. Like, everyone thinks the grass is always greener on the other side. At least I have that mentality sometimes. I always am comparing myself to other people, and it's one of my biggest flaws, but it's so hard to shake off. It put me into perspective because you will never be happy with your decision if you keep thinking, what if, what if, what if? I've made the decision now. It doesn't matter if I'm happy or not, but I've made the decision now and I can't go back. So I should just make use of my time now. There are so many times where I do doubt my choices though, and I wonder if I did the right thing. But I am also like comparing myself to other people's highlight reels. I see someone doing their dissertation and I'm like, wow, I wish I had accomplished a whole year of studying and do my dissertation and be able to graduate. I wish I could just get that over with now. And then someone might look at me and think, oh wow, I wish I could be going to PR Insight Days and going to Formula E and going to Thruxton and working on short films. I'm sure people might think that about me, but I'm thinking the same thing about them. So there's just no use. I also wish I had taken more advantage of opportunities while I was in uni, because in uni I was so focused on graduating uni, like doing my degree, surviving my degree, that I didn't think about what I could do to help myself after. And I think that my degree especially didn't set me up for success, because I think that all degrees should have a placement year. I just think it's like seeing people who do placement years, like I think that's so valuable. But I remember when people were doing networking events in uni, I was like, why are you such a loser? And now I'm the loser because I don't have a job. I just wish I had longer term vision, and like I didn't really know how networking could help me and how important networking was. So I didn't really use that to my advantage, but I should have. After my degree, I really felt like I had just been dumped into the middle of the Pacific Ocean. My uni, especially my course, they didn't really teach me any real life skills. And I feel like I'm complaining because everyone else has managed to get a job. Well, like most people have. But like I feel like I'm just swimming without direction in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. They didn't do any like career talks, or they didn't do any career fairs, or have any, I don't know, they didn't really talk about actual career stuff. All they said really was that your labor will be precarious. We live in a gig-based economy. But yeah, I do wish that I had taken advantage of that stuff more. And I also wish that I had done like varsity coverage. Like I wish I was doing more AV stuff like King's TV, because like that's the stuff I want to do now, is like sports journalism, which if I had done varsity, like covered varsity, that would have been so valuable. I would have more on my portfolio. But anyways, that's done now. So I guess I also have realized that I have so much respect for people who have hobbies and they keep their hobbies. And what I mean by that is, like, for me, all of my hobbies, I've thought about turning them into careers. For example, even my crochet, like crochet is a hobby, and I've thought about selling crochets, and I still want to sell crochets, but it's like I keep thinking about how my hobbies can make me money, or how I can turn my hobby into a commodity, or turn my hobby into capitalism. Like when I make money off of YouTube, or when I always post my art, my digital art, and I'm like, oh, maybe one day I will like have a postcard making business. And it's like I'm always trying to monetize all of my hobbies, where some people are doing careers that they not necessarily don't enjoy, but like they're good at it, so they do it and they feel a sense of duty towards it, but their hobby is not science. I have so much respect for those people, because it's like you're not trying to make your hobby something that it's not. And like I feel like having a hobby that stays a hobby keeps the fire going. Like once you turn your hobby into work, I feel like it just becomes work. I don't know, it's just like I feel like it makes art more sacred when it's a hobby, but I also want to make a living off of art. So I don't know, guys, life is so hard. But no, I really do. I think it's really cool when people are like scientists and do art. I'm also jealous of them, because I also want to be good at science and know how to paint and stuff. But all I know is how to paint. So, but like figuratively. Okay, things I haven't figured out yet. I want to tell myself to believe the fact that being a jack of all trades is a superpower. And if you are a podcast listener, you will know that I have been struggling with this for years. I mean, even that podcast episode came out like 2 years ago, I think. I think it's episode 5, Jack of all trades, master of none. And it's basically the same thing. I am a jack of all trades. I have so many hobbies and passions. I also have so many hobbies and passions to the point where I don't have time for any of them, and I don't have the mental space for any of them. And I also don't know which one I want to pursue as a career. I always feel like it's the thing that stops me from being successful. For example, like YouTube. I feel like a lot of people subscribe to me for my language videos. Those videos got the most views, but I don't want to just make language videos. I want to make vlogs, I want to make journaling videos, I want to make uni vlogs, uni videos, videos like this. I sometimes feel like that's what's stopping me from having a successful YouTube channel. I feel like if I was just a language YouTuber, I probably would be growing at the rate that I was a couple of years ago. Making language videos is so time consuming that I want to do other things. And I should be able to do other things, but that's not how the algorithm works, because people want to subscribe to you for one thing and they know you as one thing. So they want to come back to you for that one thing. And also, like, my CV, like, I feel like my CV and my portfolio is all over the place because I don't know what I want to do. I have like photos in there, I have like films in there, my show reel, I have my YouTube videos, I have a blog. My CV is just all over the place. I feel like if I had chosen one thing and just continued with that one thing, I would be like so much further than I am with all of my random other things. But I know that one day I'm gonna look back and think like, I'm so glad I didn't give up on all of these other hobbies, because this is me. Like this is who I am. I'm someone who cannot niche down. Niching down is gonna be not me. Like, that's not realistic for me. And I just know one day I'm gonna thank myself, and I know that one day someone is going to hire me because of my not niching down, because I'm a jack of all trades. I know that someday my YouTube channel will flourish because people want to see journaling videos and language videos. I just need to be consistent. I want to stop seeing it as a weakness because I know it's going to be a superpower in the end. And I just need to get there. It's so hard to see your progress when you're a jack of all trades because you're spreading yourself through so many different channels that it takes much longer to see progress. And it's really frustrating because I really want to get good at a certain language, or I really want to get good at guitar, or I really want to learn how to produce music, and I really want to learn how to color grade, and I also want to keep crocheting lots of things, and I want to make time for myself to paint. But I know that one day it will all be worth it. All of my skills that I'm working on right now are not in vain. I just need that day to come. Hurry up, please. I'm kidding. But yeah, I guess that's the end of my plan, my video plan. My closing thoughts. This year has had a lot of ups and downs. I'm very hopeful for my future. I've had a lot of moments where I doubt myself and I beat myself up and I spiral and I say horrible, mean things about myself, about how I'm not capable of anything and how I'm never going to get a job and how I'm useless and I'm a couch potato and all that stuff. But that's not helpful. I always get disheartened, but I know that my time will come. It's always been this way. Like, I see every one of my friends do a certain thing and I want it so bad and it doesn't come to me, and then one day it does come to me and like it'll all be worth it. And so I'm just waiting for my worth it moment. The bottom line is that I'm young and I'm so fortunate to be in the position that I am right now, and I should take advantage of it and just be grateful that I have parents who love me and support me and allow me to figure myself out all the way out here. I'm living the dream. Like, I shouldn't be sad. Why the hell am I sad all the time? I'm living the damn dream. And that's what I have to tell myself. And when I'm feeling sad, I'm going to watch this video back to prove to myself that I have been doing things, I've been showing up for myself, and that all I need to do is just get up off my ass and do the damn thing. And that's it. I have been talking literally for an hour. I don't know how I'm gonna make this video short. You heard me at the beginning of this video saying, oh, I'm hoping to make the video shorter so it's not so long. I told you I can't shut up. So thank you so much for watching this video. I'm very grateful if you did, because I know this is going to be a very long video and a very specific video to my life. So it's like, if you don't know me, then why would you watch? I'm hoping to do a lot more language videos soon. I really, really, really want to make language videos. Not because I want to grow as a YouTuber. I do want to grow as a YouTuber, but I also really want to put time and effort into my languages, because that's what I'm passionate about. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'm so grateful for you for watching. I'm so grateful that there are people who listen to me talk for an hour. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down, and I will see you next time. Surprisingly, my throat doesn't hurt.